Well, what's interesting about this is we're just 6 months away from Bradshaw becoming JBL and becoming WWE champion. I mean, here he's getting choke slammed by Big Show and he's out in 48 seconds. And I think it's worth noting too, I could be wrong on this, but this might actually be Nathan Jones' only WWE pay-per-view appearance.
Yeah, I can't remember another one. He's another guy that had all the potential in the world, literally, and it just he wasn't ready for prime time. Nathan wasn't socially ready to be on national television. He just wasn't. And nice guy, but he just was. He was a little unstable, shall we say?
Meltzer has a lot to say about this match. He says the negative here is they're trivializing beating Lesnar, as he's lost too often on TV to where beating him is now nothing special. Even though Benoit made him tap, no emphasis was put on it when it was over, and they still had to continue the match. The last impact is Cena putting the FU on show, which lessened the impact of Benoit's win. It was just the ending of a fall in the opening match and never talked about again. Later, when they brought Lesnar out for a promo designed to get the "you tapped out" chants directed at him, Benoit's name was never mentioned, and it was Goldberg who confronted him to tease a potential WrestleMania match. I think there's some wisdom in this. You know, I know we say sometimes wins and losses don't matter, but when you've got a monster like Brock Lesnar, they matter.
They matter, Conrad. You know, yes. People bullshit us. When, I can understand. You can have successful outings and successful presentations, no matter the win-loss scenario. But wins are important, especially in a scenario like this, in my opinion. And this is no different. You just had a lot of big stars that were going on the cusp of becoming even bigger stars. And it was just a matter of who's going to break loose. And as you alluded to moments ago, one of those guys that broke loose and became a star was JBL, going all the way to the championship.
Next up, we've got Molly Holly retaining the women's title. She's going to beat Lita in 6 minutes and 48 seconds after running her head into the exposed metal after undoing a turnbuckle. The key moves are Lita missing a moonsault, Molly doing her Molly go round finisher, and Lita kicking out of that. Meltzer would say Lita is the most charismatic of the Raw women, but the standard of work has increased greatly due to Fit Finlay in the year plus, and it's been noticeable. So
yeah, Fit was a big asset. And is he still there?
I think so.
Yeah, he did a great job working with the women. They liked him. They trusted him. Fit always had great knowledge. So he was an invaluable asset to the presentation of all the females. And he deserves a lot of credit, does Fit.
Next up, we've got Kane and Shane McMahon in an ambulance match. They go 13 minutes and 34 seconds. Almost none of this is done on the ring. They're going to be using TV monitors and Spanish announce tables and going backstage, and there's a kendo stick and an SUV and a glass window and an ambulance and garbage cans. And they've even got a crash pad. Shane's going to come off the top of the ambulance with a drop kick into a garbage can while Kane's on the floor. And there's going to be some holy shit chants here. And the finish is going to be Kane using a tombstone on the floor and then putting him in the ambulance. Quote, I think people were surprised at Shane losing so cleanly. They beat the hell out of each other, but it wasn't a good match. Star and 3/4. I think this is the first ambulance match in WWE history. It does make for an interesting visual. I don't know that you're probably a fan of these type matches though.
Well, I think when you leave the ring and most of your action is out of the ring, it makes it challenging to get the presentation over.
Yes.
That's always been my issue. And that's what we saw. This ambulance was the featured, the catalyst. And so sometimes when you're out of the ring and your wrestling match isn't really a wrestling match, it's a stunt show. It's not my cup of tea.
The Bashams are out next. They're going to retain the tag titles over Chavo and Eddie Guerrero. 7 minutes and 31 seconds. A new look for the Bashams here that Dave Meltzer calls new S&M ring attire.
I always wonder what S&M ring attire would look like. I guess we now know.
Now we know. We don't spend a lot of time talking about the Bashams. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about the Bashams.
Well, Bashams are a hell of a team. They had that OVW heritage, which could be good, blessing or curse. But Doug Basham and his partner were excellent. And they came out of that OVW environment ready to go. They'd wrestled a long time. They had successes. They were fundamentally sound. They deserved their opportunity. And so, but they never gave us any trouble. They could work with anybody and make anybody look better than they were. So I was a fan of the Bashams. I'm glad they got their opportunity.
They retained those tag titles over Chavo and Eddie, 7 minutes and 31 seconds. They're going to do some switcheroos here with the performers. Eddie's going to be mad at Chavo afterwards. And, next up, it's time for one of our main events, I suppose. One of the biggest stakes. Team Bischoff versus Team Austin. Team Bischoff is Randy Orton, Chris Jericho, Christian, Scott Steiner, and Mark Henry. Team Austin is Shawn Michaels, Rob Van Dam, the Dudley Boys, and Booker T. They go 27 minutes and 27 seconds. And Meltzer would say, in hindsight, this should have gone on last because there was so much time devoted to it and nothing could follow it. This is the first time I think Mark Henry's been wrestling on pay-per-view in like 4 years. So it's a big opportunity for Mark Henry. And Rob Van Dam was putting on quite a show here. It's a coming out party, if you will. Meltzer loves this match, gives it 4.25 stars. If you're going to watch one match from this show, I would recommend it be this one.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Anytime you got Shawn Michaels in a 20-minute match, it's probably going to be pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think you're going out on a limb on saying that.
Meltzer would say the post-match was even better. The audience is in stunned silence with Austin giving a very short farewell speech with a humbled Shawn Michaels whispering, "I'm sorry," over and over again. Eventually Coach comes out with security guards. Austin stuns them all, including Coach, and walks out, leaving 2 beer cans in the middle of the ring to end his time. This was the send-off that, a lot of people were probably thinking they'd never see, but that's the end of this storyline character, at least for now on this pay-per-view. Of course, we know it's never really over, but what do you think of that? Having Team Bischoff win? I think most people assume, well, Austin's not going to have to leave, but he does. And leaving the 2 beer cans in the middle of the ring, that's interesting. No,
very symbolic, I thought. And, I don't think anybody thought Steve was gone.
Right.
He just wasn't the general manager anymore, which is going to lead to more problems that he's going to be facing. But he's still the star of the show. And I think getting those heels over wasn't a bad thing.